At my cousin's baby shower, after screaming that my cousin didn't deserve happiness, her best friend sobbed loudly in front of everyone, saying, "I only tried to break them up because she was supposed to help me get engaged first, not steal the spotlight." She thought admitting jealousy would make her look sympathetic. Instead, guests filmed every word. Within hours, her own fiancé called off their wedding, her family cut her off, and she deleted all her social media accounts in shame. I still don't know how to talk about what happened that day without feeling a little sick to my stomach. I'm not someone who thrives on drama. I don't like gossip, I don't post my life online, and I don't usually care what other people are doing. But what I saw at my cousin Rachel's baby shower last summer changed how I look at people, especially the ones who smile the biggest when the cameras are on. The shower was held in a rented event room just outside Denton, Texas. It wasn't fancy, but it was warm and well put together. Rachel was 31, 7 months pregnant, and visibly tired but happy. She'd married Eric the year before, a quiet, kind guy who worked in IT. They weren't flashy people. Rachel still drove her old Nissan from college, but you could tell they were real. You could feel how much they cared for each other. That kind of thing stands out these days. I hadn't seen Rachel much since her wedding, but she invited all of us cousins, and I figured it'd be nice to catch up. I came in, gave her a hug, and started helping her mom set up the tables. There were soft pink streamers, gold letters spelling out, "Baby Girl," and elephant-shaped sugar cookies wrapped in plastic bags with ribbon. The whole vibe was sweet. Chill. A family thing. And then Megan showed up. Megan was Rachel's best friend. At least, that's what we'd always been told. They met in high school, did college together, even lived as roommates for a couple years. Megan was always loud, always dressed to be noticed, and very into appearances. You know the type. She posted pictures every single day, tagged every brand she wore, and talked a lot about building her brand, though no one ever knew what that actually meant. She arrived late, nearly 30 minutes after everything had started. I happened to be near the door when she walked in. Tight white dress, heels so high they looked painful, and a full face of makeup like she was heading to a club. Everyone else was in sundresses and sandals. She made a big show of walking in, clutching a tiny gift bag, like she was doing us a favor just by being there. "Oh my God," she said loudly, brushing past a table. I almost didn't come. Traffic was hell. And Sean's parents wanted to do brunch, but I was like, no, I have to show up for my girl. That's how she said it. My girl. Like this was some red carpet event. Nobody said much. There were polite nods. Rachel smiled and hugged her, though it looked stiff. Eric gave her a small wave and went back to talking to one of Rachel's uncles. I noticed Rachel's sister, Becca, give me a look that said, "Here we go." We did the usual shower stuff. Guess the baby food. Name the baby animal. There was a diaper raffle and a stack of gifts. Rachel opened onesies and baby blankets while people cooed and clapped. I was just starting to think it might actually be a normal day when Rachel stood up to say a few words. She thanked everyone, talked about how hard the pregnancy had been at the start, how scared she was to become a mom, how grateful she was for Eric and her family and friends. She didn't cry, but her voice got shaky, and she paused a few times to collect herself. Then Megan stood up. At first, it felt like she was going to say something sweet, maybe a toast. But her voice was shaky too, only in a different way. Angry. Tense. You could feel it in the room. Everyone slowly turned to look at her. She took 2 steps forward, then said it. Loud. Too loud. "I'm sorry, but I can't sit here and pretend everything's okay." Silence. Rachel blinked, confused. "Megan, what are you?" "You don't deserve this," Megan snapped. "You don't deserve any of this." A wave of confusion rolled through the room. People looked around. One lady near me actually gasped out loud. "I told you," Megan said, pointing a shaky finger at Rachel. "You were supposed to wait. You were supposed to help me get engaged first, not rush into a wedding with him. That wasn't the plan." I swear to God. You could hear the air being sucked out of the room. Rachel just stared. "What are you talking about?" "I told you," Megan said again. "I needed your help. I needed you to talk to Sean. To get him to propose. You promised. You were supposed to help me get engaged before anyone else. That's what we said. That's what we planned. Everyone was frozen. No one moved. I looked at Rachel's mom, who looked like she was in shock. Eric stood up slowly, looking at Rachel, then Megan. I tried to break them up, Megan said, louder this time.
Yes, I did.
I tried to break them up because she wasn't supposed to get all this first. She was supposed to wait. She was supposed to help me. She knew I wanted to be engaged first. She knew how long I waited. Her voice cracked. Her makeup started running. She wasn't faking the tears. That much was clear. But she thought the crying would make people feel bad for her.
It didn't.
Someone near the back whispered, "What the hell?" Someone else started filming. Megan went on, her voice rising. I gave everything to this friendship. I planned her parties. I picked her wedding dress. And she just takes the spotlight? Like it's hers to take? Like it was ever about her. No one said a word. Until Rachel did. Get out. Just 2 words. Quiet.
But sharp.
Megan's mouth fell open.
What?
Rachel didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just stared and said again, "Get out." Becca stood up next. You heard her. And then Megan lost it. She started crying. Ugly, loud sobs, saying she didn't mean to ruin anything, that she was just so hurt, and it all got twisted, and she was supposed to be next. No one moved to comfort her. She finally stormed out, heels clacking on the floor, grabbing her tiny gift bag on the way out. The door slammed. Everyone sat still, staring. Then people started talking.
Fast. Loud.
Rachel sat down slowly. Eric put his arm around her. Becca went to shut the door and locked it. Phones were still out. Videos already being posted. It was far from over. That night, after the baby shower, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. At first it was texts from other cousins and friends who had been there. Then it turned into people I hadn't spoken to in years, messaging me things like, "Is that real?" Or "Did that really happen?" I didn't even know it had hit TikTok yet until someone sent me the link. The video was everywhere. Megan's whole meltdown, all of it, had been recorded from multiple angles. Her voice, her tears, her exact words. Someone had even added subtitles. She was supposed to help me get engaged first. In white letters over her blotchy red face was the line that kept getting clipped and reposted. By 8 p.m., Megan's name was trending on Facebook in our area. People started commenting that they'd always known she was fake. One girl wrote, "Megan bullied me in high school, and this explains everything." Others shared her past Instagram posts next to quotes from the video, like they were putting together a case file. Sean, her fiancé, didn't say anything for hours. Then, at around 11:30 p.m., he posted a black screen on Instagram with one line in white letters. "Wedding's off. Don't message me." He deleted every photo of them together within minutes. I saw the post when it was still fresh, and then I saw the comments start pouring in. Most were things like, "You dodged a bullet, man," or "She did you a favor by exposing herself." By the next morning, Megan's social media was gone. Her Instagram, Twitter, even her Pinterest, wiped. Just blank links or page not found. That would have been enough for most people. But this story didn't end there. On Monday, Rachel got a call at work. She's a nurse at a local clinic, and it was Megan's mother on the line. Rachel didn't answer at first. But the woman left 3 voicemails and then showed up in person at the clinic pretending to be a patient. Security had to escort her out. According to Becca, who talked to her later that week, Megan's family had basically disowned her after the shower. Her dad told her to stay away from family events until she fixes herself, and her sister, who had a baby of her own, told her she wasn't welcome around her niece. Megan tried to spin it at first. She sent a long, rambling email to Rachel titled, "Please understand my pain," where she blamed everything on stress, hormones, and a deep fear of abandonment. Rachel didn't reply. Becca posted a screenshot of the email with Megan's name blurred in a private Facebook group we're both in. The last paragraph said, You were supposed to be my person. You were supposed to make sure I didn't fall behind. I don't care what anyone says. You knew how badly I needed this." That last line stuck with me. You knew how badly I needed this. Like getting married, getting attention, getting applause, it was some kind of race. But here's where it got even uglier. About 2 weeks later, Rachel's husband Eric got a message through LinkedIn of all places. From someone named Courtney. Courtney said she had dated Sean, Megan's ex-fiancé, before he met Megan. And Megan had been the one to ruin their relationship too. Back then, Megan had inserted herself between them under the excuse of just helping Courtney out. Slowly, she started flirting with Sean, complaining about Courtney behind her back, and eventually admitted she felt more compatible with him. Same pattern, different target. Eric showed Rachel the message. Rachel reached out to Courtney, and they ended up meeting for coffee. That's when Courtney dropped the real bomb. Megan had apparently been talking to Eric too, a year before he and Rachel started dating. Back when Eric was single, Megan had sent him flirty messages, including one where she told him, "You deserve someone with ambition and fire, not someone boring." She meant Rachel. He never responded. Rachel had never known. She sat there in the coffee shop, staring at Courtney's phone with all the receipts, the texts, the screenshots. Megan had always been there, planning Rachel's events, giving her advice, listening to her vent, but also trying to poison everything from the sidelines. Rachel told me later she almost threw up when she saw it. I asked her, "So what now?" She said, "I don't know. But she's not done. People like that don't just fade away. They wait. They hide. Then they come back when you least expect it." She was right, because a month later, something else happened, and this time, it wasn't just Megan's reputation at stake. It started with a wedding invitation. Not Rachel's, of course. She was already married. And not Megan's. That train had crashed and burned. This one came in the mail addressed to the Whitley family, and Rachel opened it thinking it might have been a mistake. It was from a woman named Danielle. No one in the family recognized the name, but the groom listed on the invite?
Sean.
Yes. Megan's ex-fiancé. The one who dumped her after the baby shower disaster. The wedding was scheduled for December. And Megan? Nowhere on the invite, not even as a guest. Rachel stared at the card for a full 5 minutes before calling Eric at work. When he picked up, she just said, "You're not going to believe this." That night, we all got the full story. After Megan's breakdown, Sean had apparently reconnected with an old college friend, Danielle, someone he dated very briefly before Megan came into his life. According to Courtney, yep, the same Courtney from before, Sean and Danielle had started talking just a few days after the baby shower meltdown. And it didn't take long for Sean to realize how twisted things had been. Here's where it gets dark. Turns out, Megan had gone through Danielle's social media years ago and blocked her from Sean's accounts without him knowing. Danielle didn't even know why Sean had ghosted her back then. She just figured he wasn't interested. But the truth was, Megan had inserted herself early on, blocked Danielle, and deleted her messages, so Sean wouldn't see them. Then she slid into his life, pretending to be the one who understood him best. Rachel's face when she read the messages from Danielle. Total horror. All this time, Megan had been building her life around being first, being best, being loved more. And every time she saw someone else getting close to that spotlight, she'd sabotage it. Quietly, carefully, until it looked like they'd just failed on their own. Except this time, she couldn't cover it up. Sean told Danielle everything. The shower, the yelling, the attempt to sabotage Rachel and Eric. The meltdown that made him rethink the entire relationship. And Danielle, instead of running, stood by him. They got engaged fast, maybe too fast, but after what they'd both been through, no one really blamed them. Megan, of course, found out.
How?
No one knows exactly, but we suspect it was through a fake account. The kind she used to follow people she didn't want to know she was watching. Rachel got a message from an unknown Instagram account a few weeks later. No name. No profile picture. Just one sentence. "You think this is over?" Rachel blocked it. But then things started getting weird. Rachel's mom got a call from the hospital billing department saying someone had requested Rachel's medical records for insurance purposes. The name they gave was fake, but the number traced back to an unlisted burner phone. Eric's job started getting calls asking for references about his behavior at work. When HR pressed, the caller hung up. Even Becca got a strange email from someone claiming Rachel had lied about her pregnancy and used fertility treatments without telling anyone. It was completely false and creepy as hell. Rachel kept a folder of every weird thing that happened. She showed it to a lawyer, who said unless Megan made a direct threat or crossed into full harassment, there wasn't much they could do. "She's careful," Rachel said. "She knows how to look crazy without being crazy." We all started looking over our shoulders a bit more. But then the real twist came. And this time, Megan wasn't hiding anymore. She showed up in person. It was late October. A community fundraiser at the Denton Public Library. Rachel was helping organize a used book sale for charity. It was broad daylight. Kids everywhere. People sipping cider and eating cookies. And Megan just walked in. Hair longer. Face thinner. Dressed in all black. She didn't smile. Didn't make a scene. Just walked straight up to Rachel in the middle of the aisle and said, loud enough for everyone near the table to hear, "You really think he chose you? He just settled." Rachel stood frozen, one hand still holding a stack of books. Megan leaned closer, her voice low now, sharp. "You're not his first choice. You're just the one who got lucky." Rachel didn't flinch. She said nothing, just stared back at her. Then Becca came around the corner and saw what was happening. She yelled, "You need to leave," and stepped between them. Megan turned without a word and walked out. Security was called. Police were notified. A report was made. But again, no direct threat. Nothing actionable. Just words. But those words stuck. "You're just the one who got lucky." And we all knew Megan wasn't finished. Not even close. After Megan showed up at the book sale, Rachel didn't sleep for days. She kept waking up in the middle of the night thinking someone was outside. Eric started double-checking the locks every evening, and Becca gave her one of those doorbell cameras that recorded everything. Rachel didn't want to admit it, but I could tell. She was scared. Not because Megan would hurt her physically, but because Megan didn't quit. She chipped away until people cracked. But Rachel wasn't the one who cracked next. It was Sean. One night, out of nowhere, Sean showed up at Rachel and Eric's house. Eric answered the door. Sean looked like hell. Unshaven, dark circles under his eyes, like he hadn't slept in days. Rachel came into the room slowly, not sure what to expect. "I need to tell you something," Sean said, eyes darting around. "And I need you to believe me, even if it sounds insane." They let him in. He sat on their couch, gripping a crumpled envelope in his hands. He said Megan had sent him a letter. Not a text. Not an email. An actual handwritten letter, mailed to his office, so Danielle wouldn't see it. The letter wasn't angry. It wasn't even desperate. It was something worse. It was calm. Planned. Full of stories, lies really about Rachel. In the letter, Megan claimed Rachel had manipulated Sean and Danielle into getting together. She said Rachel orchestrated the whole thing to make Megan lose everything in one day. That Rachel weaponized her pregnancy for sympathy and intentionally scheduled the baby shower late, just so Megan wouldn't have time to process her own breakup. It was twisted, and somehow it got to Sean. He admitted to Rachel and Eric that for weeks he'd been doubting everything. Danielle caught him looking through old messages. He asked her if she'd ever spoken to Rachel directly, which she hadn't. And that's when Danielle snapped. She told him if he wanted to spend the rest of his life wondering who was lying and who wasn't, she was out. She packed a bag and left for her sisters. Sam panicked. And that's when he showed up. "I don't know who to believe anymore," he said to Rachel. "But if I don't fix this, I'm going to lose her too." Rachel stared at him for a long time. Then she stood up and left the room. When she came back, she had a small envelope. Inside were the screenshots from Courtney. The texts Megan sent to Eric before Rachel ever dated him. The ones where Megan called Rachel boring and told Eric he deserved better. Rachel handed the envelope to Sean. "If you don't believe this, then there's nothing else I can show you." Sean didn't say a word. He just looked at the messages, his face dropping with every scroll. Then he left. 2 days later, Rachel got a message from Danielle. It was short. "Thank you. He told me everything." For a while, it seemed like that might be the final storm. But it wasn't. Because just when we thought Megan couldn't dig deeper, she took aim at someone no one expected: Becca. It started with a job application. Becca had applied for a director role at a local nonprofit, one she'd been volunteering with for years. She made it through the interviews. Got the final call. They said they'd be doing background checks and references. A week passed. Then 2. No call. Becca reached out. They told her, hesitantly, that they'd received an anonymous email warning them not to hire her. The email claimed Becca had a pattern of toxic behavior, that she was vindictive, and had threatened a former friend who struggled with mental health. Becca was stunned. She asked to see the email. They refused HR policy. But one of the staffers she was close to told her privately that the email used the phrase unstable and manipulative, like her sister. That was all she needed to hear. Becca brought it to a lawyer, but again, no name, no direct threat, no proof. Just another shadow. We knew it was Megan. We just couldn't prove it. Rachel tried to stay calm, but I saw her fraying at the edges. Eric was angry all the time. And Becca, who'd always been the loud one, the fighter, started pulling back. Stopped going out. Stopped posting online. That's when I realized Megan wasn't trying to ruin one person's life. She was trying to poison the whole tree. Things finally boiled over the night I made a mistake. I wasn't even supposed to be involved. I was just the cousin, the one who showed up to support Rachel, who stayed out of the line of fire. But I saw too much. And I held on to too many receipts. And I let myself get pulled into it. It happened the week before Christmas. Rachel had been doing better. Danielle and Sean were back together and engaged again. Quietly this time, no social media, no announcements. Rachel had a baby shower follow-up party just for close friends and family. No drama. No Megan. But I'd had enough. I was tired of watching everyone in my family get picked apart by someone who couldn't stand not being center of attention. And when I saw Megan had made a burner Twitter account pretending to be someone from Rachel's hospital, I lost it. She posted things like, "Your baby deserves better than a lazy mom who married a doormat." And some people should focus on parenting instead of pretending they're saints. I snapped. I had access to old photos from Megan's college days. Not scandalous, but unflattering. Screenshots of old Facebook fights she had with ex-friends. A video from a Vegas trip years ago where she slurred her words and fell off a bar stool. All stuff she'd scrubbed from the internet. I posted it all. Not just one clip. I made a thread. A full timeline of Megan's behavior over the years. I stayed anonymous. But people figured out fast who it was about. And since she'd already nuked her accounts months before, she couldn't defend herself. It spread fast. Local gossip pages picked it up. Former influencer turned toxic friend. Even some of her old college classmates chimed in, confirming the stories. That was my mistake. Because Megan didn't go down quietly. 2 days later, I got a call from a blocked number. "You think you did something good?" It was her voice.
Calm.
Steady. Chilling. "You just opened a door you can't close." She hung up. That night, my boss got an email with screenshots from my high school years. Dumb things. Jokes I thought were funny at the time. A party photo where I was clearly drunk underage. Tweets from when I was 19 that made me cringe. I was called into HR. No one fired me, but the warning was serious. Anything else like this, and we can't protect your position. I'd become part of it. Another piece in her war. Another person caught in the fallout. Rachel was furious when she found out. "Why would you post that?" she asked me. "Why would you give her another reason to attack?" "I was trying to defend you," I said. Defend Becca. All of us. But I knew. Deep down I wanted revenge. And I got it. But it cost me, too. Then came the final break. Megan showed up at her parents' house on Christmas Day. She hadn't been invited. They told her to leave. She stood outside in the yard yelling, loud enough for the neighbors to hear. "I was loyal to all of you," she screamed. "I gave everything to this family, to these friends, and you threw me away like garbage." Her dad didn't come outside. Her mom cried at the window but didn't open the door. The cops were called. Megan was gone before they arrived. Later that night, someone posted a video from across the street. Megan standing alone in the snow, screaming, "I was supposed to be first. I deserved this life." It went viral, again. And that was it. The last time anyone in our family saw Megan was 2 months later. Becca spotted her at a gas station near Fort Worth. Megan was wearing sunglasses, hood up, paying in cash. She looked thin, haggard, like someone who'd spent months running from everything but couldn't stop spinning in circles. Becca didn't say anything. She just watched her leave. Rachel gave birth in the spring. Healthy baby girl. She named her Ava. Sean and Danielle got married in a small ceremony by a lake. No phones, no announcements. Just real people, quietly moving on. I stayed quiet for a long time after that. Deleted my burner. Scrubbed every post I made in that thread. I still get nervous when a block number calls. Because the thing about people like Megan, they don't forget. They don't forgive. They just wait. But if she ever comes back, we'll be ready.